be live right now. I'm hoping. What I'm going to do, I always do this just for the first few times until I actually trust myself, is I'm going to go and check and make sure I can see us like on the group. So give me two.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we should be in here. And we should be in the Powerful Women group. Yes, we're there. Excellent.
Good.
I am going to pop us onto gallery view, so we're just side by side. And that's us. Amazing. So I just want to thank you for coming on and for agreeing to do this. This is something that I've been thinking about for a long, long time. I've done podcasts in the past about females and getting sober, and because I didn't see anyone that was about my age that looked and sounded like me who was getting sober, who was talking about alcoholism. It really took off. And then I did one for kinky people and trying to spread the words about that. So now it's like I'm in this space about just helping women to be more powerful, you know, and like feminism has always been a thing that I've really been into, but from a different kind of angle, right? So I feel like I don't want to start from the premise that women aren't equal. And for me, I believe that I was always equal, and I want to just keep going from there. So this Powerful Women is just like what I'm all about, especially from coming from a Dom background. So I just want to welcome anybody that's listening, and especially anyone who's new or anyone that's struggling today. You're very welcome here and you're in the right place. And I'd really like to invite you just to listen in a certain way, just to put aside any differences that you might have with me or with Yvonne, and just listen for the similarities and the stories, maybe feelings that we've felt or experiences that we've gone through. And that's how you'll get the most out of listening to this podcast. So without further ado, I want to introduce Yvonne. And Yvonne, so can you let everybody know who you are and what it is that you do?
Yes, so I'm Yvonne. I think I'm 48. I'm either 47 or 48. You know, I'm not quite sure. I think I'm 48. Mother of two girls. So actually, for me, sort of, you know, Powerful Women isn't just for me, but it's also for my daughters. And I worked in a very male-dominated industry for most of my life. So I worked in the technical industry, mainly with security cameras, doing sales and marketing, which I loved. And I fell into it and I loved it. But I got made redundant, and that really knocked me for six. I thought I dealt with it, but I hadn't. And in fact, I actually ended up in depression and on tablets. I didn't deal with it. I just got on with it, got another job, which I hated. And it actually killed my confidence, killed my self-esteem to the extent where I just quit because I knew I couldn't carry on anymore. I then ended up looking after my mother-in-law who's got Alzheimer's. And it's just, I don't know, I think it's the sandwich generation is what I am, where I'm looking after an elderly relative and youngish children. You know, my girls are 15 and 11. So I think I'm what they call the sandwich generation.
I've never heard that before. What great.
No, well, I only heard it the other day. I thought, that's me. And I juggle. Like most women, like most mums, I'm constantly juggling. And it was, what do I do now? And I've always been into personal development. And I love learning, and the mind just fascinated me. My degree is in sociology, but I never used it up until 2 years ago. It's like, so I've come full circle in a way. So I looked at NLP, and for me, it was mind blowing, because when I was training, all the techniques that I now use got used on me. And I sat there and I'm just like, oh my God, this is just incredible. It's powerful. And I came out, I was there for 11 days and I came away and I'm just like, I don't actually know what's just happened, but I feel completely new, shiny, motivated, and just the person who I was when I was 21. I was the first female student union president at my university. Bearing in mind there was 80% women there. So I was really confident at that age, but life and everything else just, knocks it out of you. And I felt like that again. I just felt, oh my God, I can do anything that I want to do. So therefore, I wanted to take what I know and what I can do and help other women feel the same. And that's really what I'm about. It's like we all deserve to feel like I do. And any woman over the age of 30, in my opinion, should have a technique called timeline therapy. It's domestos for the brain. It just clears out all the crap. And it's just amazing. So yeah, that's me. So I'm now a coach. I work predominantly with women, with business women. But actually, I just want to work with anybody that wants to feel just light, happy, positive, motivated. That's my goal. That's my aim. And we all should feel like that. So that's me in a nutshell.
I could not agree more. And I've actually had timeline therapy done on myself, and I've done it on other people. And the things that really come up from that is just astounding sometimes. When I did timeline therapy, it was really about there was a definite before and after in my life where I was super confident, super happy, ballsy, loud, all of that stuff. And I just didn't give a shit about what anyone thought of me. And then my ex-husband took his life, and I started failing at things, and I didn't know how to fail because I'd coasted through life. And there was a definite before and after, because after that I didn't know I was traumatized, I didn't know how to cope with it. And I thought, I'm going to be stupid the rest of my life because I couldn't retain information. Everything just kind of fell apart. And I just thought, well, this is life now. This is it, right? I'm just going to fail at everything and it goes nowhere. And that was really difficult. And then I had timeline therapy done on me as part of my NLP training.
Yeah.
And all of that came out, and it was so emotional, but it really helped to heal a lot of the stuff that was going on, because the brain is just so powerful. So
I think it's one thing that we underestimate, because we don't understand our brain. We just assume it just does things, and we assume that we can't change it. This for me is probably the biggest light bulb moment that I've had, is that actually I can change. I call them files. So the way I look at it, we have files in our brain, like a filing cabinet. And, I know that I can find the right or the corrupt file, because we've all got them as well, take it out, delete it, and put something else in it and put it back in my brain. And knowing that I can do that, and knowing that I can help other people do that, has basically given me, I suppose the word is power. And it's not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Actually, this doesn't rule us, we rule it. And once you realize you can do that, that switch is just incredible. It really is. And that's where I'm at. It's like, no. They're just corrupt files. Just get rid of them. Put something else in there. Don't listen to it. And people are just like, well, it's a computer. It's got a virus. Change it.
And I love how you said about power, not in a negative or a positive way, because power is just neutral. Power is just power, and it's whose hands is it in. And I believe that the more power you have, it will just amplify what's already there.
Yes.
So if you're already tyrannical, right, and you're power hungry, then and you're already using what power you have right now in a negative way, then that's only going to amplify that.
Yes.
But if you're a good person, a kind person, and a generous person, then it's more power is only going to amplify that, and it's going to give you more resources to be able to impact more people in your life, be it more people in your family or your kind of immediate community, or on a world stage, like being able to help people, which then has that ripple effect on everyone. Yes. So, but for me, power is just neutral. It's whose hands is it in, and what are you doing with it?
Yeah, totally agree.
And so what do you think makes a woman powerful?
For me, what makes a woman powerful is being self-aware. That's the first thing. If you're not really self-aware, you don't know who you are. And again, I've become extremely self-aware of who I am, what I like, what I don't like. I went to the gym the other day and I turned to the gym instructor and said, right, I don't like exercise. If I don't see results straight away, I won't come. If it's boring, I'm not going to come. And 20 minutes is my max. And he just looked at me and went, right, you obviously know.
Sounds like my sex life. Boring, I'm not going to come.
But you
20 minutes max.
20 minutes, fully go. Brilliant. But it's being self-aware, and also then not being afraid to express how you feel, because there's no point knowing that, that you're not going to do it and just sit and nod, which I would have done in the past and go, oh yeah, I'll come for 2 hours and I will do this. Going, no, I'm not. So no, be honest, it ain't going to happen. Give me something that's going to work. So for me, that is huge. Also, it's being able to just say no is really powerful. And I didn't, it's like the other day, my husband turned to me and said, can you come here? And I went, no. And I thought, whoa, I said no to him before. And I thought, oh, I must have done. But I just thought, because I was doing something. And I thought, I'm not dropping it. And I went, no. And that was it. It wasn't, no, give me 2 seconds, or no, I'm doing something. It was no, end of. What happened? Nothing. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think the world's going to end if we say no to something? Or we're going to miss out on something really big? And no, I think sometimes it just doesn't work for you, and that's cool. That's enough.
Yeah, that's it. Just no. Yeah. So saying no, I think, is really powerful as well. But also acknowledging the fact that if you're unhappy or if something's not working for you, just change it. Because I was very much on the literally on like this track that was taking me, I fell into corporate world, I fell from job to job to job, and it was literally, I was just on this road, and I'm like, this road isn't right for me. But I was getting paid lots of money, it was easy, I didn't have to think about it, I got to travel places. So I was using all of those excuses to stay doing something that I really didn't enjoy. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hang on a minute. And it was scary, basically quitting my job with nothing else and just doing something different. But it's like, why am I doing something that I don't enjoy for most of my time? What's going to happen? So, and this is one of my big things. It's like, people come to me. I'm actually quite lucky because most people who come to me want to change, probably a little bit like you, Andrea. They want to change. So therefore it's good. But I'm sure, like me, you get people who phone you up and, you have a chat with them and they go, change, and they're not going to change. I cannot deal with people like that. If people want to moan and whinge and do nothing about it, then I'm not your person, because I will tell you straight. And that's the other thing. It's like, if you really want something different, be responsible and do something about it. Don't just sit and whinge about it, because actually you're going to make yourself miserable.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I think being powerful is.
Cool. And what's something that you've personally come through on the other side more powerful? Like, is there anything that you've gone through that you've gone, fuck, that really set me up, like, and you've gained or you've learned something from it?
Yeah, I think sort of when I got made redundant, so I loved my job. I worked for Sony and I absolutely loved it. And I was part of the management team, and I knew we were making redundancies, but I just didn't see it coming. So it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, oh my God, it's like, what am I going to do? And I suppose I went into survival mode. So it was like, I need a job. So I just literally, I think I finished on like the 1st of July and I had another job by the 1st of August kind of thing. It was, bang. Yeah. And that's when things just started to unravel. So I remember standing in our kitchen. The girls were, what were they? 8 and 3 or 4. I don't know how old they were. They were old enough to understand what was going on. Yeah. And I just stood by the kitchen door and I literally just screamed. And I just, just leave me alone. I cannot cope anymore. I just didn't know what to do. So I went and had some sort of tablets. I had CBT and it just didn't work for me. It just dulled it. but I thought, I want more than this. And I just sort of, I just carried on. And to be honest, Andrea, I think I just existed. I existed for about 3 years like that. And then I did NLP, and it literally was NLP. It was just like, Jesus Christ, it was just, wow. And I said, I just suddenly realized that for the last 3 years, even though I wasn't, on antidepressants or anything like that, I was in a fog, and it was just like, and I wasn't living. I constantly had this hole in my stomach, and I used to drink to fill it. I used to eat to fill it. I'd be living for my holidays just to fill this hole, and it was just like, but it never got full. It's like, it's still empty. What's going on here? So it definitely NLP, and all of a sudden this hole had gone, and I'm like, shit, what's going on? So for me, it was, and the other thing that I didn't understand is that, you went through something really traumatic. I haven't. I've had nothing major happen in my life. But what has happened in my life and most people's lives is lots of little things have happened. We've got these little building blocks, or bags of shit, as I call them, that we put into our bin. And we just don't deal with it. And the combination of all that little things makes a big thing. And, I cannot tell you what made me scream. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. No idea what it was. And when I went to the doctor, I said, I can't be depressed. Nothing major's happened. And he's like, well, not necessarily. It's all of these little. And now I know it. It's like, again, going back to timeline, we fill our metaphorical bin with shit. And what happens? It explodes. And so for me, it was just accepting that life doesn't have to feel empty. If you are diagnosed with depression, it's not because something major's happened. It can be those little building blocks. And different things work for different people. Don't get me wrong. I know people who say that CBT is wonderful and it's the best thing they've ever done. It just didn't work for me. So it's just, so I think if you've tried something and it hasn't worked, and also if you've tried the same thing and it hasn't worked, don't just say, well, that doesn't work. It may be the person, because we need to connect. If we don't connect, it's a bit like, oh, well, NLP shit, it didn't work for me. It may not be NLP. It may be the person who you work with. It may be that it wasn't the right time for you. So, I am trying to keep an open mind on CBT. And I did actually, I did a course the other month on it, and I've read a book on it. So I'm a little bit more open to it. And I do use a little bit when I coach, but it's not my go-to. It's not my go-to at all. But yeah, it's just...
I did the same. I did CBT with 3 different counsellors, and every single, well, the first guy said, are you just, because I was a stripper at the time, and he's like, are you just like ashamed of your job? And I was like, no, that's not why I'm here. I fucking love my job. So that's not it. And he's like, you're just, so try saying it, you're ashamed. And I was like, I'm going to leave now. So I just left, and I was like, what was that? So I thought, I'm not going to therapy to be told that I'm shameful.
No.
Then I went to, this was before the suicide, but then I went to an NHS doctor, and it took about 5 months to get an appointment. We were supposed to do about 10 sessions, and we got about 6 in, and she was like, I don't know what to do with you. And I was like, okay, so I'm that broken. And then I left there, and then I paid for therapy myself, and same thing happened. We got a few sessions in. She's like, I don't know what to do with you. Like, you're so you know what you want, you're headstrong. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't get my mind to do what I want it to do. I can't get these feelings away. I don't have any control over my thinking and my thoughts and what's going on for me. And I was so confused by it, because I've always been able to, I've always had that real strong mindset, and it was gone. And I said, and like you said, I was living in a fog for 6 years. I was drinking, I was filling it with relationships, friendships. I decorated my house about 7 times. I got a new car. I travelled the world. I went to different countries thinking it was Scotland that's the problem here. It's this city, it's the weather. And it never was. It was me. And when you were saying about bags of shit, I've got a metaphor that I teach clients about, and I call it "don't sniff the jobby," and it's about not dealing with that shit and letting it pile up, and having piles of litter and piles of shit and piles of gold, because this is what all comes down a river, and your river's your stream of consciousness. So you pick out the gold and you keep that and you share it with people. The litter, you take it out and you deal with it. That's your to-do list. Get it to fuck. Don't carry it about with you. And the jobbies, just stand back, let them pass, because they will, and they'll break down all on their own. But don't pick them out and sniff them.
No.
Ask your pals, do you want a wee sniff? And then other people come up to you, do you want to sniff my job? Of course I do. Stick your face right in it. And then everybody's sitting there in a bad mood because we've all been sitting sniffing jobbies all day. Yeah. And that's exactly, and you described it so perfectly. That's exactly it. So in amongst all of that, I know you said that you were screaming and like going to the doctors, and the doctors try to give you pills and all of that. But what was the turning point for you that you decided enough's enough? That's it. I need to do something. I need to change.
It'd been brewing for a while, but for me, I think the enough was enough. Is that when I joined this new company, I was employed as the European sales manager for a division. Within 2 months, they closed this division, and I became just a UK salesperson. I'm like, hang on a minute, I would never have applied for this job, but I got offered that role with the caveat that when the UK sales team was set up, I would manage them. Okay, fine. Anyway, I then find out about 4 or 5 months later that 3 other people had also been offered the same caveat. So it's like, oh, okay. The issue is, Andrea, and this is where the excuses now come in, okay? The money was incredible.
Yeah.
I was working from home. I literally worked the hours that I wanted to work. My boss never called me, and I was hitting my number and therefore getting bonuses left, right, and centre. It was easy.
Yeah.
So when I looked at doing other things, it's like, okay, well, if I want to go and do, and I've always worked in the European role and travels. Okay, if I want to do that, I lose the flexibility, the freedom, and all of this. And it was and I spent probably about a year weighing up the pros and the cons and looking for new roles and going, hang on a minute, they want me to work more for the same pay. It's like, and in the end, it came to a head where I'm like, actually, it's the money. We're a slave to the wage. The money wasn't worth, and I could feel myself spiraling again. Yeah. It wasn't worth me going back to where I was. I just thought, I'm not doing this. And then when my mother-in-law got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and my husband was traveling all over the place at the time, it just came to a stage where I'm like, one of us is going to have to change our jobs. And I think I was also burnt out.
Yeah.
So I think I was quite happy just to go, do you know what? I'll do it. And so that was in March. So that's March 2018.
Yeah.
And I literally did nothing other than look after my mother-in-law until I then did my NLP in October 2018. And that's when I'm like, right, this is what I want to do. So it was just the recognition that I was going to go end up back where I was, and I wasn't going to do that. And also I read Michelle Obama's book.
Yeah.
And I just remember there's a bit in her book that basically said, she'd followed this path all of her life. A path that really wasn't for her, but she just followed it. And then she decided at one stage she's going to go and just do this and just go and do pro bono work. And I thought, you know what? That's me. I've just followed this path. And then she was talking about, Barack, and he'd been, doing all of these different things and the kind of life that he had. I'm thinking, why am I just following this path that I'm not actually happy with? So I just upset it. So that was it. It was just, I don't know, a combination of, again, lots of little things. And it was just like, oh, I'm off. I've had enough of this. And bravery. It was brave. Lots of people tend to say, well, you're lucky because your husband earns enough money. It's like, no, I've always contributed as much as he has to the household. For me to then not earn a penny and to rely on a man was massive.
Yeah.
it was a huge thing for me to accept. And it's just like, I just need this for now. So, you know, it was brave. What I did was really brave. I'm pleased I did it, but it took guts, and I know that. And it's the best thing I did, but it was bloody scary at the time.
And what were the lessons that you learned from that?
Don't wait. Oh God, if I could have done this, probably when I got made redundant, because again, I had the money then. I got nearly 12 months payout because I've been there for so long. Yeah, Sony's redundancy pay was really good. Don't know what it's like today, but it was then. If I'd done that then, you know, I'd have had a business now that will probably be sort of 8-9 years old. And I would have been happier for 8 or 9 years. So, you know, I know that we're coming up to a stage now where furlough's coming to an end. Lots of people are sort of sitting there going, what's going to happen to me? I did a post, I think it was last year, on this. It's like, you know, if you do get made redundant and you can, give yourself some space to think. And see it as an opportunity rather than like I was, a rabbit in headlights, and just go, actually, what do I want? And I would say particularly women of a certain age, you know, if you're sort of late 30s, early 40s, I would say, actually, this is your time to just, it's our, you know, third part of our life, isn't it? And do it before you get to the menopause, because then when you start being perimenopause and all that, all shit goes off. So, you know, if you're at that certain age where you get the opportunities, just stop and think and go, what do I really want to do? If I could start again, which is what you are, what could I do? So that would be the thing that I would say, you know, that's the advice that I would have liked somebody to give me when I got made redundant. Just stop, recharge your batteries, and really think about why you're here. And, you know, legacy for me has now become a really big thing. It's like, you know, if you sat on your deathbed, what's your legacy? And
that's the questions I'm going to ask you in a moment. So I love asking these questions, but just because of the real length and breadth of answers that I get from people. And if we get to find out what's really important to us, and just like you were saying about the Alzheimer's diagnosis, it sounds like it put things in perspective. And that's what, you know, I've lost friends, I've lost my ex, I've lost family, and every time it happens, it really brings me back to what's really important here. And so there's two things that's obviously guaranteed in life, right? That we're all going to die and we don't know when. So if you only had 24 hours left to live and you knew you only had 24 hours left, how would you spend them?
I would get my 2 daughters and my husband, and I would literally say, we've got 24 hours, what do you want to do? And we would do whatever they wanted to do. We wouldn't sleep. We would do whatever they wanted to do. I'm sure it'd be very sad, but try and make it as fun as possible and as packed as possible. You know, let's live our life in 24 hours. It would literally be that. Just spend quality time with the 3 of them.
And is there anything that you would stop doing?
I'd close my laptop, turn my phone off, and just live in the moment. We all would. I'd make sure that there was no devices coming with us. It's just us 4 in that bubble. Love it. Definitely.
And so we're going to stretch it now. If you had a week, 7 days, how would you spend them?
7 days. We'd definitely get on a plane. Again, just the 4 of us would get on a plane and we would go somewhere. We as a family, we love Asia. I'm thinking 7 days too short. I'll give you a bit longer, Andrea. We would definitely go on a plane, and we'd stay in just the nicest hotel that we could find in short notice, and just again spend time together as the 4 of us.
Amazing. And you ask for more time and I will deliver. You've got a year. How would you spend the year?
Got me more time. If I had a year, So again, it would be going away. I would, so let's just say that I found out, let's make this easy. So I found out in November, yeah?
Okay.
There is thought behind my madness. So November, I would basically find a chalet in the Alps somewhere, and we would spend the ski season together. And actually, I'd make sure it's got plenty of rooms for people who wanted to come and join us to come and visit. So friends and family could also come as well. But we'd spend the ski season there. Then it would literally just get from there, get on a plane and go to Thailand. And I'd love to island hop again with the family, just the four of us. And then probably come back in our summer to somewhere like Cyprus or something like that, and sort of get a villa with lots of rooms so people could come and visit as well. I suppose I'd come home. I think I probably would. Do I want to die here? I don't know, actually. Probably not, because I can't relax at home. So for me to relax, I need to be away from the house. So I think I just go and find somewhere else with a big villa and just invite people. And yeah, I think it's just, I love holidays. I either love really warm or really cold. I don't think I should have been born in the UK. I'm a bit like you know, like, oh, it's the UK, it's not me. The climate just isn't me. It's just like, why are we here? We should be in Cyprus. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I would literally hop. I'd follow the snow and then I'd follow the sun.
Amazing.
Yeah. But what's really interesting, because I knew that you might ask me these questions, is that I have been thinking about it, and you know, it's all about my family. Yeah. However, on a daily basis, how much time do I actually spend with my family?
Yeah,
not that much. So just having thought about this made me realize, well, hang on a minute, you know, you could die tomorrow without any warning.
Yeah.
And how much time have you spent with your daughters and your husband today? You'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
So you've made me think as well.
Has that changed anything for you in terms of how you're spending your days?
It's only this morning that I thought about it, when I thought, oh, actually, well, I think I'm just going to ask you these questions. I just thought, yeah. So it's sort of it's there. You've opened something, and now it's like, oh, okay, now what do I do with this? Because you know, spending time with your family can sometimes be a right drain, particularly with a 15-year-old teenager who's going through GCSEs, and she's just like. But when you spend one-to-one with them, they're brilliant. It's having that time. And I think this is one thing that I've reevaluated actually over the summer holidays, is when I first started my coaching business, I wanted to earn a corporate salary. That was my aim. What I've realized was last year was a nightmare because I was homeschooling, and it was just like, just go away. I couldn't cope with them anymore. Yeah. Whereas this year we had a little bit more normality, and over the holidays, you know, I've taken days off and I've worked when I wanted to work, and I just thought, you know what, this is what I want. I don't want to be working every hour God sends. I don't want to turn around and say, no, I can't take you to your friends because I've got a coaching call. So I've reevaluated sort of what I want from the business, and it does fall in line with sort of some of the stuff that we've been talking about, you know, spending time with the family, and doing all of that. So yeah, I think, and also the thing is, I think it's okay to reevaluate and to change your mind and to change what you're doing to fit. You know, I say my youngest is about to go and do her A-levels next year. This is it. She may not want to spend time with me anymore. So it's a bit like, okay, well, I need to just spend time with them whilst I can. You know, in 5 years' time, when my youngest goes off to do A-levels, I may have more time on my hands and then I can do more. But yeah, you set up your own business for a reason. And I think, and again, I was so much in the corporate mentality when I did it, that's all I could see. Whereas now I'm like, no, actually, that's not it. I want to be able to work and contribute because that's important to me. but also I want to be able to spend quality time with the people who are important to me. So yeah, I've reevaluated my life quite a bit. See, self-aware, really important.
Amazing. Good. So so if you could, what advice do you think you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Well, as I said, I was really happy when I was 20. I didn't have any, I look back and just think, God, what happened to her? Because I just, I'd sit in meetings with professors and deans and doctors. And bearing in mind, I was I'm originally from Wales, literally in the sticks. I moved from a very small village in Pembrokeshire to London. And I would sit in meetings with these people who, was awfully posh and all of this. I had a really strong accent at the time. And I would just tell them what I thought. And I didn't care. It was, I was the voice of the student, because I was a student governor as well. So I was the voice of the student. So therefore, it's like, well, I'm your customer, so you need to listen to me.
Brilliant. And that's what I was like.
Yeah.
I was class ref as well, and I was just like, I said to one of the lecturers, listen, you've not given us enough time to study for that exam, so you're going to have to change the date.
Yeah.
And he just did it, and I was like, good.
Because I think sometimes when we are younger, it's like, and this is really interesting, because I'm a governor at my daughter's school now, and they were saying about, what's the perfect student, and they had different things, and one was a compliant student, and I'm like, yeah, that one, a compliant student, and they went, no, it may have been compliant when you were in school, Yvonne, but we do not want compliant students. Okay. We actually want students who question politely, but question, and not just take on board what they're being taught. Because when they leave school, we want them to have the confidence to be able to question, and to question adults who are older than them. And I'm thinking, wow, I love that idea in school, but sometimes at home I'd like a compliant daughter. So I think so I was just like really impressed with that. And also the whole philosophy, there's a new head there, the whole philosophy is to basically produce and help the students to be able to face life. So not just on an educational point of view, but also on a life point of view as well. So it's all the life skills and everything else. I'm thinking brilliant. So going back to your original question, I would tell my 20-year-old self not to change, to instead of just thinking, I don't know how I'm doing this and I'm sort of winging it, which I probably was, but it's a bit like, do you know what, document this, because when you get to 30 and 40, you want to look back and go, hang on a minute, how did I do all of that? Where did this confidence come from? I would also tell my 20-year-old self to go and do NLP straight away, so that she would have those tools, and however she uses them doesn't matter, but at least, when life throws shit, it can be dealt with, and that'd be it. I wouldn't change anything else, because I didn't get married till I was, 32 when I got married. So I quit my job at 30, went traveling into the world. So I did that, then came back, met my husband, got married, had the girls. So I think I've done stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would say is I would have preferred to be equipped more with the tools that would have helped me probably do things quicker, or come to decisions quicker, and maybe not put up with so much shit, and just deal with it. So but my 20-year-old self was just amazing. It's just like, just carry on being yeah, that's amazing. What I would say. Yeah.
And what do you think, if your 90-year-old self could see you right now, what do you think she would say to you?
She would probably say slow down even more. Okay. Because again, I am spinning plates, and I know I am. She would probably turn around and say, just give yourself a bloody break.
Yeah.
Laugh more.
Yeah.
I think that'll be it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for everybody, the last 18 months have just been a bit shit, and it's put a spanner in the works for lots of people. And but then again, you know, people have also, I hate the word, but I'm going to use it, but we've pivoted and we've changed stuff and this, that, and the other. But, you know, I'm very much, I do love my holidays. So I'm really struggling. But I'm going to Crete. I'm going to Crete in less than a month, so that's okay. So for me, the only bit that's missing right now that would probably make me feel so much happier are those holidays. And as you know, and when we do go away as a family, we'd really enjoy what we do, and it's just fun. So I think that's the only thing that's missing. That's probably what she would say, is like, they're coming. Don't worry, those holidays are coming. So don't, you know.
Awesome. And what kind of legacy would you love to leave?
So my legacy is I want to be able to help as many people just be happy and be like me. So I'd like it, you know, in my wake or whatever, that there are people there who will turn around and say, oh, well, Yvonne helped me do this, or Yvonne enabled me to do that. If it wasn't for Yvonne, I wouldn't have achieved this. So it's not so, yes, it's a little bit of a me thing, but also it's the fact that I've had a positive impact on other people's lives. That to me is really important. And it's really important actually that I have a positive impact on my daughter's lives as well, because if everybody else is really happy and my daughters aren't, then as far as I'm concerned, I failed. So they're always number one. So to make sure that they know that they can do whatever they want is first and foremost. But then it's sort of being able to help other people just get on with life and enjoy life. And, you know, we only have one life. So it's like, what's the point? So yeah, that would be my legacy, is to help as many people as possible be the best versions of themselves.
And what would you say, you know, purpose is a big thing for me. It's the thing that helps me get out of bed in the morning when I can't be fucking arsed. I'm pissing down outside, I've not slept well, or, you know, the cats are doing my head in, or whatever is going on for me, right? And I'm tired, I've got my period, I've woke up with spots, my hair's a mess, whatever it is. But the thing that gets me out of bed is the why, because that's what gets me through all of the hows and the hard bits. So what would you say your why is when it comes to what you're doing?
Yeah, see, this is a really difficult one for me because I struggle with my why.
Okay, I've got an exercise we could do if you want to play with.
It's just, I used to have I still do. I sell Arbonne, so I have a network marketing business, but I just sell the products. That is very much, what's your why? What's your why? And I think, I don't know what my why is. I want to go on holidays. I want to do this. I want to do that. But actually, I had all of that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't enough. And I think that's probably why I failed at it. It wasn't enough to get me over the hurdles. And some of those network marketing hurdles are massive anyway. So, you know, what is my why? And I don't really know if I had to, you know, I had a vision board actually, and I took it down yesterday because I just thought, it's not doing anything to me. It's just there. So
let's take your coaching business, for example, your NLP business. So why is it important to you that you're successful at that?
Because if I'm not successful, then I haven't helped people.
And why is it important to you that you help people?
Because I think that everybody deserves to be happy if they're willing to put the work in.
And why is it important to you that people around you are happy?
Because then it's got that ripple effect, hasn't it? So it's the people closest to you are happy, they're happy. It's just that ripple effect that people are just happy and people are just being who they want to be. I think that's really important. And we've talked about this before. It's like, you know, be the person who you want to be and not who society wants you to be.
And why is it important to you that people get to be who they want to be and not who society wants them to be?
Because then they'll be happy, they will live their lives. And I think if you're the more people that's happy, is, you know, it's a happier society that we have, and I suppose it's in a happier world. But I'm not sure if that's my why. You know, I don't want to change the world. But I want to.
Is it important to you that we all live in a happier world?
Because we deserve it. We all deserve to be happy. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. And why is that important to you?
I suppose because I want to be happy. I think it sort of comes down to that. It's sort of, I want to be happy. And therefore, if I can help other people be happy, then that has a positive effect on me.
Yeah. So it sounds like your why is about just creating a better place to live in so that you can be happy and family, your daughters, because that happy world that you create, they're going to go out into, and and they need to live in that. So having that effect, like, and it's really just about impact, I guess, for you. It's make the world a happier place, and then everybody benefits from that.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I was hearing in that. But the exercise, that it's just, why is that important to you? Why is that important to you? And dropping down through the layers. And usually with clients, I go until something hits them in the throat and they're like, yeah, fuck, that's my why.
That's my why. So, yeah, I've heard that one before, and I have, and again, it's do you know what? As coaches, we don't let our clients off the hook. As individuals, we let ourselves off the hook. It's just, and you let me off the hook. I know you did. It's not good. That's fine. But that's it, though, is it? And this is, why people say, why do you need a coach? It's like, well, because we can see things that you can't see.
Yeah.
And we're not going to let you off the hook. You will let yourself off the hook. We won't, and we'll ask the questions that you don't want us to ask. It's like, I don't know if I want to work with you. No, you do, because it would be fun. But that's why.
Yeah, or ask the questions that you don't even think to ask yourself.
Yes.
Because it's not obvious to everyone. And that's why I've got a coach, because I've got blind spots as well. So I go to my coach and I say, I don't know what I'm doing with this. This has came up for me and I don't know what to do. And then they help me through it. And that's why, one of the reasons why I worked on creating a process for people to follow so they can self-coach as much as possible. And then they're set, because I don't want people to come to me, get something sorted, leave me, and then go, oh shit.
Yeah.
I want them to go, okay, I don't actually really need a coach anymore unless there's something that's really, really big. But on the day-to-day general living kind of thing, they can pull themselves out of any hole that they're in. And for me, that really goes in with my values of being self-sufficient, independent. Yes. You've got power over your own life, and you want people in your life, and you'll surround yourself with people that that are nice to be around and you enjoy being around, but you don't need it.
No.
And that's huge. That has always been huge for me, and it sounds like it's been huge for you, that independence, that I'm not relying on anybody. I've got you in my life because I want you here, not because I need you, I'm relying or dependent on you.
And I think, that's, again, is going back to that self-aware. I think there are so many people out there who've got, I wrote that post the other day, didn't I, about the energy bust and the energy vampires.
Yes,
and it's like, so many of us have got people in our lives that are actually not adding to it, but we're still with them. It's like, why they're not adding to you? It's because, when we grow up, be nice to everybody, be kind. It's like, well, no, this person's just not adding anything, and actually all they're doing is sucking the energy out of me. And when they walk into a room, I just go, oh God, no, it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, because then, like, for that, that was a big thing for me, was that taking 100% responsibility for that. If someone's sucking my energy, I'm giving them it.
Yeah.
And I used to give it away all the time, and I was so drained and so empty, and I was just like a 50% person.
Yeah.
And
I think that's another reason why people sort of say they've got this hole or whatever. It's like, it's because you're giving so much of yourself and you're getting nothing back to fill it with. So
absolutely. So any last advice that you would give any woman that's watching this right now, or any man, because this applies across the board?
It does apply across the board. The only advice I would give is, if you're just feeling just a little bit lost or a little bit empty, or you're just existing, then you need to do something to move you to living. because there's just no point. Because if you're just existing, let's be totally honest, why are you even here?
Yeah.
And that's harsh. That is quite a harsh thing to say, but that's the way to look at it. It's like, actually, no, I need to live, and I need to live on my terms, not everybody else's. So that would be my advice, is if you're just feeling a bit,
yeah,
and again, Andrea, you know this as well as I do, having a coach doesn't mean that you're committing 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Isn't, yes, sometimes you need to commit to that, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes a couple of sessions of just having, as you say, somebody else look at it, give you some advice, and they go, oh, okay. But I think there's this conception around coaching that you've got to commit to, months and months and months of it. And it's like, well, you may do, but actually most of the time you don't.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say is, and also having a coach, if you're going to have one, is probably the best investment that you'll make, because as we said at the beginning, and I think you wrote a post about this, is that you go when you feel shit, so you go and buy shoes, you go and buy makeup, you go and have your head, and you still feel shit.
And I nose thinking that would fix me.
No, this.
And it's okay to still have those things, right? It's okay to still go and get tits and a nose if you want it, but if your head's in a good place, you'll enjoy it all the more.
Exactly, because it's you can't run away from this. It's with you.
Exactly.
We go on holidays, but it's like, do you know what? You can control it, and that's the best thing. As soon as you realize that you can change what's in here, that is mind blowing. It really is.
That's power, right? If you can get a handle on this, you're untouchable. You're bulletproof.
You are. And people do, look at the sports people out there, look at the people who you admire. They have this, but they can control it, or they've got people that help them control it. All the Olympians, the top Olympians, they've all got mindset coaches nowadays.
Yeah. And that's a great metaphor, a great analogy to use, because most of us spend our times in the stands, in the crowd, watching life go by, reporting on it, talking about it, having an opinion about it, shouting at the telly, thinking that's going to affect the play of the game, but it doesn't. You have to be on the fucking court. You have to be on the pitch. You have to be the one throwing the javelin, taking the action, because otherwise you're just talking about life. You're not in life. And
so many people do that, and actually, that's one of the awful sides of social media. We've all got an opinion, but actually shut up and go and do something about it. Stop talking about it.
Shouting at the telly. If only he'd do this, and if only they'd do that, and my life would be better. No, this pish. No. Get up off the couch and go get on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Take control. That again, that's my thing. Take control. If you're not going to take control, shut up. I'm not interested.
Harsh. Harsh. Get it in there. It's true though. You need to take 100%. And responsibility isn't about blame. It isn't about taking credit. It isn't about extra work. It's about, okay, I accept everything in my life right now, whether I like it or not. And as soon as you own it, it's yours to control. It's yours to take control of, to change, to have power over. And that's amazing.
It is amazing. And also, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they weren't in a very good place, and they ended up calling the doctor, and they had some tablets. And I said to them, and a week later, how are you feeling? I said, you know what? After I picked up that phone, I felt so much better. And I said, yes. I said, because you've done something.
Yeah,
so you hadn't had the tablets.
Wheels are in motion now.
Yeah, you hadn't had the tablets at that stage, but you'd put the wheels in motion. You'd taken responsibility, and you were going into action.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
It's an illusion. That's all it is. So amazing. Right. So how can people contact you then? What's your links? I'm going to put them onto the post anyway, but just
okay. So they can contact me. So I've got a website address. So it's www. The 3 W's. We go. And it's Believe. So it's BELEEV.co.uk. And then my email is yvonne@believe.co.uk as well. I'm on all the social medias. We're obviously linked on LinkedIn, and we're linked on Facebook as well, so you can find me through Andrea. But yeah, I'm sort of fairly yeah, I'm more on LinkedIn and Facebook than any other platform. So if you want to find me there, you can. What you see is what you get with me. So I will put up videos, and most of the time I haven't even got makeup on and I'm just rambling. That's me. That is me. You might find, as I said today, you might find some marketing from me that's got spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes in it because I'm dyslexic. Sorry, but get over it.
It is, right? And that's it.
That's it. Yeah. So
amazing.
So, yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for doing
You're
this.
welcome.
Coming on. This has been amazing. I've learned so much, and what I might do, I don't know if it would work in a group, but I'm starting the Powerful Women programme, group coaching for women.
Okay.
So maybe that's something that you could come and do for the women that are there, and do some timeline therapy. So we'll have a wee chat about that later. But
yeah, and we can have a chat. There's a simpler thing that I can do with regards to removing negative emotions. So we could do that in a group, definitely. Timeline probably not, but that one we can.
Cool. Well, let's have a chat about that. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hope you have an incredible rest of your day.
And I will. And thank you very much, Angie. I've really enjoyed it.
Take
care. Bye.